Good afternoon, youth. I am super excited to be here on this Wednesday afternoon. Me and Stephanie are running back and forth here at church trying to get everything going. I hope that y'all have had a great week so far. I hope that everybody has been healthy and staying out of Walmart. And if you have, get your mask on. Let's start with a word of prayer. Dear God, thank you very much for giving us this wonderful week that we have. Even though it's a little warm outside, thank you for giving us the ability to go out there and just enjoy it and just to praise your name. Dear God, please be with us as we go through this this next couple minutes to praise your name, and please help me to speak your name, speak your word through me. Amen. All right, so we have conversed back and forth about what we want to do coming up in the future. I've talked to Steve a little bit back and forth, and at this point, we're still holding off till we can figure out. We'll as the schools open up and see how things go. But we are super excited about the possibility of things clearing up pretty quickly, so we can get together again as a group. Other than that, really, no announcements, but we are excited about the possibility of the announcements coming up. So we're going to go ahead and move on to doing some music songs real quick, and then we'll go to our sermon. So let's time Stephanie from the back of the room to the front. And Stephanie.
I don't have to know you just to know you haven't lied to at some point or place. Well, I can relate, and you're wondering if it's worth it. Heartbroken, feeling worthless, so the hurt is too great, like a punch in the face. But don't forget we got something else in common. Bigger than all our pain and all our problems. This goes out to anyone that would account. It's not over, don't give up. Don't throw in the towel. Just remember who you belong to. Let me remind you how this ends. We win. Whoa, we win. We get pushed down, we get beat up, so a freight line's gonna keep us up against the ropes. But hang on, there's hope, cause if Christ is inside us, it won't be a fair fight, cause deep down we know how the story goes. This goes down to anyone that would account. It's not over, don't give up. Don't throw in the towel. Just remember who you belong to. Let me remind you how this ends. We win. Whoa, we win. We win. Whoa, we win. Ain't no stopping us, he's not done with us. We are more than conquerors. Ain't no stopping us, he's not done with us. We are more than conquerors. Just remember who you belong to. Let me remind you how this ends. We win. Whoa, we win.
For so long I carried the weight of my past, crippled by burdens like stones on my back. I thought I had fallen too far from your grace, but you came and showed me the way. When I was a lost soul searching, you're the ground beneath my feet. When I was a blind man begging, you're the eyes so I could see. When the smoke was rising up, you're the air that I could breathe. You gave me hope, you gave me something to believe. Now I'm alive and born again, rescued from the grave of sin. Not your love came crashing in and pulled me out of the fire. I'm a survivor. Now all I can see are the fields of your grace. Wherever I run, you're leading the way. You shook the shackles off my feet. I found redemption on my knees. You gave me hope, you gave me something to believe. Now I'm alive and born again, rescued from the grave of sin. God, your love came crashing in and pulled me out of the fire. I'm a survivor. Oh, I'm a survivor. You're my God. You're my fighter. You made me a survivor. You're my God. You're my fighter. You made me a survivor. You're my God. You're my fighter. You made me a survivor. Now I'm alive and born again, rescued from the grip of sin. Oh God, your love came crashing in and pulled me out of the fire. I'm a survivor. Oh, I'm a survivor. Pulled me out of the fire. I'm a survivor.
Yes, go ahead and just bow with me just now. Dear God, I just love you so much, and I just thank you for your blessings upon us, Lord. I just thank you for your spirit that just fills us each and every day, Lord. All we have to do is ask for it, and it's there, Lord. I just pray right now that you be with Adam and you just be with this message, and we lift your name up in your
You
son's name we pray.
surround
Amen.
me with song of deliverance
She's super fast.
from my enemies till all my
I'm back. All right. Thank you very much, Stephanie, for that. That was awesome. So much energy for running back and forth at the same time. That's awesome. All right. So, I'm going to dive into this. It's going to be all over the place, and I'm sorry, but keep up with me. Y'all have much more energy than I do, so I would expect y'all to be able to do this. So, Saturday night, I think it was, maybe Friday night. I don't know if y'all saw the comet. It was kind of a cool sight to see, but came by, and as that went by, it kind of got me thinking about what I was going to do for my sermon for Sunday night. Did not have this prepared for Sunday night, and honestly, I don't really have it prepared for Wednesday night either, but I'm excited. Looking into outer space, you just see the vastness. You see all the constellations. You see everything that you could, focus on out there, and to the point that you can't focus. It gets blurry. It's so far out. God created all of these galaxies. The vastness and the depth of everything is so insane to me to think, how many other times did he try this? It's crazy how awesome this is. So the thing that I kind of related into that was in my daily devotional that y'all heard me talk about. It brought up that, I don't know if y'all know Buzz Aldrin. He was on the Apollo 11 space mission. They went to the moon. Him and Neil Armstrong were the first guys on the moon. So it says that the first lunar landing occurred on July 20th, 1969, and Buzz Aldrin was the lunar module pilot of the Apollo 11 space mission. He was also the second person to set foot on the moon, descending the module after Neil Armstrong. So Buzz Aldrin, he took a tiny communion kit that his church gave him so he could give communion when he got to the moon. So that's pretty cool. So that morning he radioed, "Houston, this is Eagle. I would like to request a few moments of silence. I would like to invite each person listening to contemplate for a moment the events of the last few hours and give thanks in their own individual way." So even as this guy goes through this massive trip to go all the way to the moon, he still has God on his mind and giving thanks the entire way. I mean, you have to think of all the stress this guy's under to make things happen right. And the biggest thing that he's worried about is getting there and giving communion to God. That's awesome. That's a really cool thing. And so he says during the radio blackout, Aldrin took the communion elements and read John 15:5. It says, "I am the vine, you are the branches. He who abides in me and I in him bears much fruit." So what that verse is saying is that God is our vine. He's our passageway to the earth to get our nutrients. A plant just doesn't have leaves. It has to get its nutrients from the soil, and God is that avenue that we get our nutrients to be excellent Christians. It says, "And I in him which bears much fruit." So as you have that godly outlook, that that Holy Spirit inside you that's just begging to get out, those are the fruit that you bear. That's the flower. That's when people see it in your eyes. That's how it comes about. It's because God is inside you, just exploding out of you. With that, I was kind of going through my Bible, and I have a whole bunch of different options to read different questions about that people normally ask. And one of the main questions that I have heard is, does this have to be done publicly? Do I need to display being a Christian in front of people? It makes me nervous. I don't want to, do I want to be the guy that talks about God whenever I'm at school, in front of everybody else? It can be nerve-wracking because everybody has their own opinion. But the answer is that God makes the rules. He has undertaken our salvation completely. Therefore, he has the right to say how we are to receive it. It says, "Whoever therefore shall confess to me before men, him will I confess also before my Father which is in heaven." So what Jesus is saying there is that whenever you are publicly talking about God, whenever you have that emotion to be in front of somebody and have that conversation with them, you're showing your faith in God. You know what I mean? It's not like you're trying to hide it, keep it back. You're openly confessing that you're a Christian in front of somebody. And Jesus is going to do that same thing to his Father when we get to heaven. You're not going to deny him. I think it's Luke chapter 12, verses 8 and 9. It says, "Also I say you, whosoever shall confess me before men, him shall the Son of Man also confess before the angels of God. But he that denieth me before men shall be denied before the angels of God. That's some deep stuff. Me and Stephanie were talking earlier about how we want to consistently be uplifting as we have conversations with y'all over a video. Somewhat difficult to do. I mean, but at the same time, it's saying very strictly, don't be afraid to confess that you're a Christian in front of others, because the persecution that can endure it's only minimal compared to the reward once you get to heaven. You always have God sitting there over your shoulder, and for Jesus to say, that he shall confess to you in front of all the angels in heaven. I mean, you got to think that's a big undertaking as well, So don't be afraid to not only worship God, but praise God in front of people. It says, take and eat. This is my body, which is broken for you. So this is going back to the whole story about Buzz Aldrin. I was in 1 Corinthians 11:12, but that's going back to him actually giving communion on the moon. And it says, Buzz Aldrin literally took Jesus to the moon. And the first thing that he got when he arrived on the moon was worship God. So no matter where you are, I mean, we're talking to the moon and back. It doesn't matter if you're sitting there in the cafeteria, or if you're sitting there at a basketball game, or if you're literally on the moon. Any time is an acceptable time to talk about God. It was funny, we went talking about the whole going up there and seeing the meteor go by. We were all at the river, me and a whole bunch of buddies of mine, and we all went out with our families, and we all had a great time floating the river with all the kids. And then we get back and we're all sitting around a campfire, and it's like it just comes up. It's not something that you're forceful with, but it's like, oh, don't you go to that church down there in Slick? Yeah, I do. And we had a great conversation, about our church, about our faith, and it's something that just, God puts you in the spot to do that. God's not gonna lead you to go over here with the same people at the same time at church and, constantly keep you in that comfortable blanket. He's gonna put you in situations where you have to choose whether or not you wanna have that conversation with, some of your friends that might not go to church all the time, or that, this might not be exactly what they wanna hear. But that conversation is key, because every time you have that conversation, and we've gone over this multiple times, you're planting a seed in somebody's heart. And through that conversation with my friends, one of my buddies was like, my kids have really been wanting to go to church somewhere, and we just haven't really had our church home. And I'm like, come with us. We love to grow our family, and this church is our family. And that is a very passionate thing to me, that we look across here, and y'all know for a fact I am horrible at names, so don't get me on that one. But faces, and I'll be like, that's somebody in my family, and you can know it when you walk into Walmart, or you go into town and you do whatever, you see your family everywhere. And so that moment that God gave to me to either say yay or nay, to have a conversation, I grasped it, and it was worth it. So take that and constantly, remember that you're going to always have an opportunity. Whether you take it or not is the big decision. Buzz Aldrin had this opportunity, and it says that there was a previous mission to outer space, and it was the Genesis mission, and NASA got sued, big money, because another one of the astronauts brought up the account of creation during this mission, and it was broadcasted live. And so NASA was like, hey, don't do this. And he's like, there's much greater, authorities over y'all. Y'all aren't going to stop me from worshiping my God whenever I go to the moon. So even if it's not accepted by others, you still, that's your God-given right to profess your faith in Jesus and God. So that's what I have tonight. So let's go ahead and have a word of prayer, and then we'll have a closing song with Stephanie. Dear God, thank you very much for letting us just be able to worship your name no matter where we're at and whatever we do. Thank you for giving us the ability to have a conversation with you on a daily basis and be in there just to listen to everything that we have in our minds. Dear God, please be with this youth group and bring us back close together soon. And up next, we have our closing song.
You unravel me with a melody. You surround me with a song.